My name is Llywelyn Hall. I'm a BP artist from 2009. My entry was Harry Patch. I've entered the BP Portrait Award probably about 6 times prior to being eventually selected for it, and on each occasion the thought that I'd get in and didn't. And then eventually this portrait of Harry Patch was selected. It was quite topical because at the time, obviously, Harry Patch, the last Tommy, had actually died during the run of the exhibition, so it made it even more poignant. And the fact that the image was used as posters across the underground. I mean, I did feel quite proud and that I'd sort of caught a moment in history which I felt privileged to be involved in. Painting Harry Patch, I think, was probably it was the most moving of situations I've been in, I think, probably in my life, I think, because I built myself up to it for quite a long time. I'd initially thought about painting probably about 8 years before I did it, and I wanted to be the person to paint the last person to sort of set eyes on the trenches and experience the First World War. And for me, seeing him the first time, he was, at the time living in a retirement home, and he dressed for the occasion, sort of wearing medals and things, and I came into this area and he was sitting on his own, and he just looked like a man who was entirely, on his own. He had none of his contemporaries around. The man was 111 when I saw him, so it really overwhelmed me. But I think that helped with the portrait. Now, had I worked in reference from photograph and not met him, it wouldn't have worked. That for me consolidated the idea of having to be with the subject and work with the subject and experience it, and then that helped me then make the work in the volume I did. Successful portraits are ones which are ultimately a good painting, a good picture, and that we don't feel as though we have to engage with the sitter. They become good portraits in their own right. Much like a writer would start a story from a particular experience, then go off a tangent on something that's well away from the actual truth of the subject, but it's underpinned by the subject being the sitter.